years ago in October 2010, and I did it out of a necessity, the last resort, because I was playing in bands before then for about 35 years, and I got sacked because my hearing was deteriorating because of being in loud rock bands, and I found myself with no job. So I started busking then, as I said, out of necessity. I didn't want to do it. My son then was about 10, 11 years old, and I didn't want his mates to see me in town with a bucket in front of me playing the guitar in the freezing cold weather. I thought it was really bad. I was quite biased against buskers back then. I am part of the furniture now, part of one of the local buildings. It moves around a little bit. Although I was born in England, in Bournemouth, you could probably tell my accent's slightly foreign or alien. It's because I grew up in Canada, where I lived till I was 21. But when I was there, I played in loads of groups, playing around all over the place, the wilderness of Canada, places where there's tumbleweed blowing about, Monday to Saturday, travel all day Sunday. You play in these strange places and it's freezing cold, and you had to sort of live in the bathroom with the hot water in the bath going and lock yourself in there. I've been through all that, and I thought, well, I'll come back to England to seek my fame and fortune when I was just as I said, when I turned 21. And I've been trying to do that ever since. Lots of things have happened, you know, all to do with music, and I've always kept playing music, and that's all I've ever done. But the busking I've been doing for the past 8 years. It's interesting being on the street and observing people who come up to you and people who don't come up to you. A lot of people walk by and they don't even look at you, or they look at you in a kind of, well, you know, what's he doing sort of way. Lots of people don't give any money. Businessmen, people in suits, people who look like they have a lot of money, never get any of their money. Maybe that's why they got a lot of money. Members of the clergy very rarely give any money. Anyone involved with any sort of that kind of religion, which is interesting. People who are generous, old people, children, love to come up and give money. But especially the little kids are really funny because they're like, throw the coin in with such violence and force, you know, it's really funny. Poor people give money. You get people coming up with 5p, which is heartening, you know. It has a weird psychological effect sometimes, and you can go for 20 minutes without anyone giving any money, and that's something that I've never been able to get used to. It might get better than that, you know, that you might sell a CD a minute after that and everything's great again. There was a guy who sold flowers, a guy named George Winchester, and I asked him about this sometimes. I said, why some days you get a lot of money and some days you don't? And he said, it's the same with selling flowers. He said, there's no reason for it. It's just some days people want roses and some days they don't. It is, you do get strange things happening when you're on the street. The other day I had a man come up to me, and I just played Albatross, the Fleetwood Mac instrumental. And he came up and he said, my wife died 3 years ago and she had that played at her funeral. That was like her favourite song. And he said, I've just come from the cathedral where I was with my daughter who was graduating, and she said, I just was looking for a sign that my mother is watching over me. And then the man said, when we came out, you were playing Albatross. And my daughter said, that's it, that's a sign from my mother. And when he came up and said that to me, and he shook my hand and he thanked me. And I thought, well, I couldn't make anything like that up. You know, I thought that was brilliant. So odd things like that happen all the time.